A longtime American ally joining in the battle against ISIS. British warplanes are in the air now and targeting militant sites in Iraq, but they say they are going to stay out of Syria. U.S. military leaders say this is just the beginning, as terrorists are running around on the ground and trying to hide among the civilian population. So what are the options then? We're joined by retired Navy Captain Bob Wells, former National Security Advisor to Vice President Dick Cheney. I want to start with this. Britain, Belgium, and Denmark have all joined this coalition, but they're all saying we're going to only attack targets inside of Iraq, not go after the targets inside of Syria. Is this a success for the Obama administration signing these folks on, or does it say something more that they're not willing to take part in the mission as a whole?
I think both. I think it's a success with regard to making sure that we have a coalition of capable military partners to support the effort within Iraq. I also think we need to think at the big picture. We need to look at the actual intent of ISIS to basically diminish the authority within Iraq. We also need to think about the place where they're operating from, which is Syria. And I think the actual debate inside the Parliament in the UK went half measure, and we needed to ask for a little bit more. I think Prime Minister Cameron will do just that. I think he mentioned that a further debate with regard to UK involvement inside Syria would be forthcoming.
Speaking, though, in terms of the larger policy issues going forward, I want to read this from Foreign Policy magazine that just came out. The problem is that in seeking to sidestep the pitfalls that plagued Bush, Obama has inadvertently created his own. Obama seems steadfast in his resistance both to learning from his past errors and to managing his team so that the future errors are prevented. It's hard to think of a recent president who has grown so little in office. Obviously, there's a lot of folks who will tell you that the Obama administration policy, forget the Arab Spring, but towards Syria over the past couple of years, disastrously flawed. Is this a continuation of that, trying to have limited airstrikes, not having ground troops, etc.?
I think it's a calculation on part of the Obama administration. Listen, I think the Bush administration had it right with regard to the global war on terrorism. I think this administration has been short to come to the reality, tried a different course with regard to accommodation, but the fact is that they are at war with us, and we have to basically use all elements of national power. We have to have a strong set of tools in our toolbox. Could be political tools, military tools, economic tools, have our diplomats go the extra mile. I think this past week with the Obama administration in New York was a really solid week for the Obama administration, but there's miles to go. I think there needs to be the reality is that we need to basically not only to deny and disrupt, but we need to defeat ISIS.
You talk about defeating it. The main push that the Obama administration has given in this is essentially we're going to take care of the airstrikes, but we're going to rely on the locals, the Free Syrian Army, the Iraqi military, and the Kurdish Peshmerga to go in and mop things up on the ground. All three of those groups have shown to be somewhere between inept and don't even bother showing up for battle when it happens. The Peshmerga at one point were able to help out a little bit, but they don't have the weapons to do it. Does the administration need to change its policy, or are you stuck between two really bad options here?
I think the administration's on the right path with regard to a very long-term strategy. This is going to be a long effort. We need to build up the capability. We need to build up the defensive capability of the Peshmerga and the Kurds. We need to reinstitute some of the relationships and the capability of the Iraqi army. As I understand it, it's a containment plus strategy, the plus meaning that we really need to push ISIS out of Iraq, and the containment piece is the Syria strategy, which is to their capability, have no safe havens allowed inside Syria, and to strike when we need to. I think we've had a really good week here. As General Dempsey, the Chairman, Joint Chiefs of Staff, said this week, we really were able to diminish ISIS's logistics capability, its command and control capability, also its infrastructure capability with inside Iraq. The U.S. Navy, as you know, had the Tomahawk strikes outside of Aleppo against the Khorasan group. That's the denial of safe haven strategy that we need to continue to look for the Navy to support. The bottom line is, though, this is going to be a long effort, and to your point, Leland, there needs to be increased measures to basically improve the capability and the capacity of the Iraqis, of the Kurds, and of all the different allied forces, Saudis training, Jordanians training, the Iraqis to get them back in the fight.
We'll see if they actually head back into the fight at some point coming up. Obviously, things so far haven't gone so well for the Iraqi military. Retired Navy Captain Bob Wells with his thoughts. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Leland.